A bright and wonderful Thursday to all of you. Unless you're not watching this on a Thursday, then a good day to you then. Today I'd like to talk about a very specific game that does a very specific thing, and yet has a broad audience. And that sounds kind of freaking stupid, but allow me to explain. The game I'd like to talk about is Popcap's Plants vs. Zombies. Now, I've fallen in love with this game on 3 separate occasions, on 3 different platforms. On my Xbox, on an iPod, and on my computer. And every time I play it, I remember why I loved it so much, and then I don't play it again, and I play it again a year later, it's like, oh, this is why I love this game so much. But why is it I'm doing that? It seems kind of odd because typically there's a game I like, I continue playing it. I've been playing Mass Effect 3 on and off, even though there hasn't been that much of a reason to continue playing it. I just like playing it. But what is it about Plants vs. Zombies that, even though if I go away, I instantly can come back and just go, yes, I remember why I like this game. I think it's because the game is designed to be available to everybody, and yet every section of everybody will look at it a little bit differently. For example, I look at it as though it's meant to be strategized, as though you're supposed to plan out and do everything perfectly. You're supposed to get this plant in this position at this time or you're screwed. And yet, I showed it to my mom once, and she was completely lost in how to do it, and yet she was still sort of successful. I say sort of with barely any confidence, but she was still successful. And this game has such a wide appeal, and yet it doesn't compromise the actual game itself. It's still a solid game that I would recommend that you play on any number of platforms that are available. I think it's on pretty much anything that can play a game, to be honest. So, you got choices. But there's one very specific thing that it does that I don't think any other game can replicate in such an effective and decisive manner. Plants vs. Zombies is able to freak me out. Now, not like I'm jumping out of my chair screaming freak out. I'm talking it's able to psych me out and make me worry almost. Which seems kind of odd because it's just plants and zombies. But I'm specifically talking about fog levels. For those of you who don't know, there are 5 stages of Plants vs. Zombies, and the 4th stage is fog, where you're supposed to defend your backyard, which has a pool in it, and it's at night, and there's a cloud of fog that rolls over what you're looking at, so you can't really see through it. Now you have plants that allow you to see through it, and all manner of things. But before you have that, or in different missions or mini games where fog is active or you don't have a way to light it up, it gets weird. Because you could have a plant inside the fog, and a zombie will be sitting there chewing on it, and you hear little teeth, and you hear the chewing, and you know it's there, you know it's happening, but you can't see it. And that's probably the best sort of fear out there, is the fear that you know it's there, but you can't see it. Now, granted, you're doing stuff about this. You can plant other plants and kill the zombies. But Plants vs. Zombies hits on a core thing. In that, like I said, it can hit everyone with everything. And everyone can play the game. Which, genuinely, I don't like with a game. I like games that are very specific and very focused on, this sect of gamer. And yet, like I said, anyone could play it. Normally, I'm not a fan of that. Like Angry Birds, I can't stand the game. But Plants vs. Zombies, totally fine with that game. That game is great. Now, if you've never played it before, I would recommend you do. You will find yourself challenged in a different way than you would with a lot of other games. If you've played a Popcap game, then you know that the second you start playing, you don't want to stop until you're done. Lord knows how much time I spent playing Peggle going, I don't even know why I'm bothering doing this. But yet, I kept playing. Because that's just how good the games that Popcap makes are. I personally think that Plants vs. Zombies should be played. Because it has such a wide appeal, and yet has such a core focus. And, as I mentioned, it managed to unnerve me, which is rare for games to do, especially such a simple, casual game. Now, I hope that you have a similar experience if you do play it, or if you have played it, because it is a game that should be played. I would recommend it to you on any system at any time. So I hope you enjoyed my little explanation of why Plants vs. Zombies is such a special game to me. But that is all I am going to talk about for today. I thank you very much for tuning in, and I shall see all of you later.